Oh wow. It's all coming back to me. Man, such nostalgia. Man, they made it just like the original. I'm gonna cry. Wow, the sounds. It's oh man. It's already hitting me right in the childhood. Um Before we begin, I want to talk about my history and the connection with this game. At least the original back in the 90s. It goes back a long time and has a deep seat in my life. I probably would have been around 6 or 7, or maybe even 8, when my dad surprised me with my first ever PlayStation. I must have really wanted one at the time. They used to have these old video game stores where you could walk in and play on the consoles on display. And I think I would go there every time we went shopping. It was like the first and last stop for me whenever my parents did like the usual shopping route. At like back in the days, like we were, I guess, considered probably lower class family. We didn't have much. My dad had just come from overseas with like no English. I think he might have been looking for work or he was living in a factory. So we didn't have a lot, but we had each other. We had family, right? And that's like the most important thing. So at the time, buying a PlayStation was a very big deal. The games were just as expensive as they are now, if not more. And I'm pretty sure as a society, we probably weren't earning as much as we did back then. So it was definitely a pretty big deal. So I can't recall exactly, but either the PlayStation came with a bundled game like Crash Bandicoot, or it just came for demo. I think it might have just come with the demo. So I basically my first ever PlayStation, I had no game except the demo that it came with. Now let me tell you, that demo may as well have been a full game because I remember playing those demo games over and over and over. I didn't care, I got my first PlayStation, I was ecstatic, and one of those games were definitely Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, on that demo CD. And I played it repeatedly. It was a proper challenge too. Like imagine you're a 6-year-old trying to play a platformer at this level. But I don't think I ever beat that demo, even considering the demo that it was, because how difficult it was. I just kept cycling through those games on that demo. It was, if I recall correctly, it was like this silver and blue disc. And there were these other weird games on it as well. There was this weird space game where you'd shoot like these random aliens in a spaceship. I think it might have actually been System Shock, because I'm getting now that I'm like recalling, I'm getting a System Shock vibe. So it might have been like the first System Shock on that demo. It was the early 90s, so it's quite possible. But I do also remember there was this graphical test game. I think they were like showing off the PlayStation's graphics. It was like this dinosaur just walking, and you were in like a camera mode, and you could like move around and make the dinosaur do stuff. And I think you choose like a whale as well. It was definitely very exciting for that time, especially you're just a kid. But more than anything, I definitely remember Oddworld. For its time, even today, it was a incredibly unique game in its style, story, message, audio, and gameplay. It was horrifying, but not enough to scar you as a child. Though back then, if you look at some of those kind of puppet-based movies from the early 90s, I think it was a norm to have that kind of grotesque aesthetic. We'll talk more about it as we play, and it all kind of comes back to me. But here I am now, almost 20 years later, replaying it in all my mature form to beat it and truly uncover what this game was about. I think, let's begin. Sorry for my little rant there, guys. I thought I'd just give like a little history based on my connection with this game.